1 year on. To make it clear, I would first like to state that any recently published videos showing Sparkles flying are from before her crash. Sparkles, as of the date of this video, has not yet returned to the skies. The end of the very last flight went something like this. With assistance, I stumbled away from the wreckage and turned back. The thoughts that immediately came to me were, Sparkles is finished. I cannot rebuild her, she is dead. The big reason was, I don't want to fly anymore after the crash. Who would? This was very emotional for me. Sparkles is dead.
We shared so many amazing experiences, me and Sparkles. From the minute that I placed the order and started designing, providing the selection of options to the manufacturer, the delivery, that sounds like a baby. It was my baby. No, she's dead.
My left shoulder was dislocated. My right shoulder suffered too, and I would never be physically fit to fly again. Or would I? And this morning I'm on the way to the hospital to have my follow-up. It's been about just over two weeks since the accident. So I've actually got my right shoulder's quite sore, and my left one was the one that was dislocated. An update on the hospital visit. Wasn't quite what I expected actually. It turns out that even though I'm holding this camera with my left arm, and I took my arm out of my sling about 2-3 days ago, the x-rays show there is a fracture in my shoulder. But obviously it's not troubling me too much, fortunately. So that's one of the reports. I had to actually go and have an x-ray prior to the consultation with the doctor, and that's what he's found. He's done a whole lot of range of movements. This arm, my right arm, is quite, it's okay that way, but this way it's not. So very pessimistic thoughts came to mind. The world was more or less at a standstill at this time. Sending great chunks of money overseas was a huge risk. Would I ever see my parts? I'll need all of them. Would I ever be able to make Sparkles airworthy again? More on that later, but this is a promising sign. Unfortunately, we didn't record the actual first startup, but she started very effortlessly. Here she is running sweet. I did, however, have the engine running before I ordered any parts to make sure the engine was still going to work anyway. So I was confident it was going to work out okay. Now that the engine was running, it was time to fully warm it up. Synchronize the carburetors, set the idle speed, and check it for leaks and any other possible issues. I'm glad to report the engine seems to be in good health. Next will be a full power run and taxi at the airport. All the required airworthiness paperwork and registrations have been completed, so as soon as I have the wing attached, I'm all legal to fly. Sparkles has now been relocated back to the Maryborough Airport, into her hangar. On a recent weekend, she was seen basking in our spring sunshine on display for those to see the reincarnation. So what is stopping me from flying at the moment? Obviously, the wing. Somewhat important. It's now on a ship somewhere between Australia and Singapore. So not long to go now, and I expect my return to the skies will be in mid-October. If you ever saw Sparkles before the crash, then she most certainly looks the same. Nothing new to see. The paint is just as pretty as it ever was, but there are some changes. Sparkles version 2.0 upgrades. Propeller is now nickel leading edges to minimize chipping. The iPad is now conveniently dash mounted. The mobile phone has its own mounting cradle with wireless charging. I made an audio patch box customized for phone and intercom to record through an audio isolation transformer to the camera directly. No more difficult audio syncing and videos. Still to be tested in the air though. The landing light is now LED. It has lower current draw and brighter than the halogen that was there originally, with shielded wire, which is very important to minimize radio interference. Regarding the rebuild challenges, yes, there are a few. Many of the challenges are teaching me new things, which is always a positive thing. The biggest thing I am learning is patience. Anyway, I needed the time to get myself in order again to fly, physically and mentally.
I'm just going to say how it is.
I also understand a lot better now how the aircraft goes together, that's for sure. The crash was a year ago now, 25th of September. The parts were ordered last November. Big delays were caused due to the pandemic, and a new factory and manufacturer in a different company, related manufacturing issues concerning supply of raw materials and parts, freight and shipping, and all sorts of logistical issues. We had to ship the wing and the other parts in 2 separate lots due to the delays with the wing. This makes the process more expensive, but we could rebuild the aircraft while waiting for the wing in the meantime. All I know is there is nothing certain with aviation. In terms of the rebuild, can I rebuild and get an airworthy? I was told as long as I was using manufacturer parts and techniques. Poor radio transmission and receive turned out to be multiple aerial issues which now appear to be fixed. Damaged intercom output. Fortunately, there was a second output on the intercom for recording my videos. Drilling holes in new aircraft composites for the fitment of instruments and wiring and attachment to the aircraft. That was a little bit concerning, but we got through it, especially the instrument panel. Removing and refitting the crankshaft drive gear and gearbox. I broke a torque wrench doing this due to the left-hand thread. All fixed now though. And another project I had to complete in order to get the aircraft back to Maryborough was my aircraft trailer modifications and finalisation, and I also added a winch as well. And the LED landing light did have interference, but as I said earlier, using shielded wire, we fixed that. Oh, and a lot of time went into polishing these stainless steel mufflers. Now that I know I can shine them, I'll try and keep them shiny. Hey, would you be interested for me to tell the full story of the crash, rebuild and fly again? I'm thinking of making a movie. Watch out for the next big episode too. Very soon I'll be flying again after a long break. 12 months. Thanks for watching, and if you are still here, then you must be enjoying my style of aviation videos. Why don't you take a few seconds to subscribe? It's free and you won't miss future episodes, and show your appreciation by liking and sharing the video with some of your mates. Trike 6340, good day.